And I've traveled all over and never felt closer. Life on the water is a life for me. And I've traveled all over and never felt closer. Life on the water is a life for me. It's for me.
Don't carry a bunch of stuff in both hands. Always have one in case a boat goes by and there's a wake or something you don't want to fall over. You want to have a hold of something. So on with the show. G. Bryan has gathered some molten glass out of the furnace. That glass is 2,100 degrees right now. That's why it's glowing orange. It's actually clear glass. However, G has a very beautiful, one of my favorite color patterns he does. And he's rolling it through multiple layers of crushed up glass called frit that has color in it. So it's colored glass with different metal oxides that have colored it. So he's got an amber color there, which is colored with silver. He's got a pink color there, which is colored with gold. And he's got a white color there that's probably colored with zinc or tin. And then he's got blue colored with cobalt. So metal oxides make the colors in glass. And he's using frit to color it. It'll make a beautiful speckled pattern in multiple layers. And you'll see how that turns out. Now he is going to make a specific style of vase called a Jack and Nicholson vase. Anybody heard of that? Has anybody heard of Louis Comfort Tiffany? He's a glass maker from not too far away on Long Island. And he had a factory there called the Tiffany Glass Works. And this is one of the designs that they developed. It's inspired by nature. Tiffany was very much a part of the Art Nouveau movement. We just had a great exhibition about Tiffany's mosaics at the Corning Museum of Glass. So if you did anybody see that exhibition at the Corning Museum? Has anybody been to the Corning Museum of Glass before? Yeah, and what did you think of it? Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, maybe. Well, if you haven't been in there to the Corning Museum in the last couple of years, I would encourage you to come back because it's changed quite a bit. You remember the old Steuben glass factory that used to be on site there? Well, it's no longer there, but that factory building has now been renovated and it's our new demonstration theater. So it's kind of like this, but a lot bigger. We have artists working there doing very intricate pieces. So you get a 25-minute show here on the GlassBarge. There you get much more in-depth shows. They have shows about glass breaking and the physics of glass. And of course you can see one of the world's premier collections of glass anywhere. It's the best collection of glass in the entire world, really, and most encyclopedic. And it tells the story of this amazing material that we use every single day. Imagine your day without glass. Imagine that. And the other cool thing about Corning is that it's been pivotal in the development of glass technologies. So has anybody talked on their mobile telephone today or looked at a flat screen? Well, those technologies, the technologies that are required for that, came from Corning. The fiber optic cable, the glass on your smartphone, especially if it's an Apple iPhone. That's Gorilla Glass. It was all developed right there in a small valley upstate New York, in the Southern Tier. So it's a cool place to visit. It has a great history, and that's another reason we have the barge out here. Is we're telling the story of glass in Corning. Why is that museum there? Well, 150 years ago, the Brooklyn Flint Glass Works, which was located just down the river in Brooklyn, moved to Corning because they wanted to be closer to their fuel source, which is the coal in Pennsylvania. They wanted to be closer to the raw materials, so the sand from the Midwest. They wanted to be closer to their markets, which were out west, the standing markets for the glass. And they came there to make crystal glass, to make crystal blanks for decorating and cutting. But they ended up becoming the Corning Incorporated that we know today, that developed glass technologies for industry and for technical applications. But that was 150 years ago. The other thing we're celebrating, the other reason we're on the Hudson River here and going down the Erie Canal is because we're celebrating the 200th anniversary of the New York waterways Erie Canal system. It took 10 years to build, but this is when they're celebrating 200 years this year, and we want to help celebrate that. One of the major sponsors of our GlassBarge tour is the New York State Canal Corporation. All right, so let's get back to G. Now that we know why we are here on a barge in the Hudson River, entertaining you and educating you with glassmaking. G. Brian has layered the colors on, and now he's taking the glass valve that he's decorated with a nice glaze of color, and he's pressed it into a mold to make a juicer. He pressed it into the mold just to put those lines on the surface. Now that's going to cause a little bit of disruption in the color that he makes, some stretching and some thickening in areas. And that's going to create a really neat optical pattern in the coloration that he's put on there. Now he's going to smooth those out, but the lines will remain, and it's going to make a neat graphic pattern in the colors he's applying to the surface. So he's going to smooth them out, like I said, and then after he smooths out those lines, he'll actually have to go back in the furnace. He's going to get more glass because he wants to make a nice tall vase, and he doesn't have enough glass to do that. Now let's say he wanted to make a mug or a wine glass or something. He'd probably have enough glass for that. But he wants to get more glass. We'll get another couple pounds by going back into our melting furnace and coating the glass that he's colored with some crystal clear glass. Now the furnace he's using right now, that's our reheater. We call that the glory hole. And that's just an empty box of heat. It's made out of high aluminum refractory material. It's a great insulator. It reflects and holds a lot of heat. And it's a great thing for softening the glass. We put it in there to keep the glass hot, and the heat makes the glass soft and malleable and workable. So quite often through this process, after he works it at the bench and it's cooled down, it stiffens up so he can't do anything with it, he'll be returning back to that furnace every 30 or 20 or 30 seconds. All right, so he was just blowing into that pipe. That's a hollow steel tube called a blow pipe that the glass is attached to there. And that's why we call it glass blowing. That's how we make it hollow inside. We actually blow into it, just like we're blowing up a wad of bubble gum into a bubble or into a balloon. And that's how we make it hollow inside. That's how we expand the volume. We make it bigger, and then that's how we thin out the walls. That was glass blowing right there. And most of the work that's done at the glass blowing bench isn't really blowing. A lot of people come to these demonstrations that they've never seen glass before. By the way, is there anybody here who this is the first time they've seen glass blowing? Quite a few of you. That's great. We're so glad you get to see G. Brian Jupp, America's favorite glass blower, for the first time. Yeah. All right, so that tool that G is using is called a block. And we call it a block. Why? Because it's made out of a block of wood. The specific wood, you have to use a specific kind of wood. We like to use fruit wood because fruit wood holds a lot of water and it doesn't burn away really quickly. It's a very fine grain and it doesn't release sap. So we like to use fruit wood because it doesn't mark up the glass, and it actually rides on a pillow of steam that's being drawn out of the wood. So we keep that tool soaking in water at all times so it doesn't catch on fire. All right, so now he has the glass there. You see it's very dark. You don't really see the true colors yet because he hasn't fully expanded it in. It's still probably about 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. You can probably see the heat distortion coming off of there, and the heat rising. So here it's stiff enough, it's cool enough that G can go back into the furnace and collect another layer of glass. When we scoop the glass out of the furnace, that's called a gather. So he's gathering the glass out of the furnace. That's our melting furnace there on the left side of the stage. We have a big clay pot inside of it, a crucible that holds about 150 pounds of molten glass. He just took about 2 or 3 pounds out of there, coating his initial bubble with the colors in a layer of clear glass. And it looks like clear glass, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like clear glass to you? No, it looks like yellow glass. Well, maybe he went to the wrong furnace. What do you think? No, it's orange because it's hot. It's like molten lava. So when you see lava coming out of a volcano, it's orange, it's red. But it's actually molten rock that's probably black or brown. And glass is pretty much the same thing. But the lavas, most of it is silica and quartz, and it's the same with glass. So glass is made mostly of sand, about 70% sand. This type of glass is called a soda-lime silicate. And it's the most common type of glass. All the windows on the buildings back there, and that one over there, these windows here, the glasses on your table, those are probably all made of soda-lime glass. And we call it soda-lime because the flux we use is soda ash, or sodium carbonate. And we add a stabilizer, that's limestone, that's calcium carbonate. So those are two secondary ingredients that are added to the sand to help it melt down and to help it last forever. Now there, G is using a, oh yeah, you guys like fire? Yeah, right. People love fire. We got a lot of that. You, Brian, Chuck. All right, you guys see the pattern that's emerging there? Remember how dark it was before? Now that it's expanded, you can see why he pushed it into that mold and put those lines on there. So it creates a beautiful decorative pattern. It looks like a madras or a woven fabric. It's really beautiful. And this is one of my favorite color designs that he does. This layered color design. I do love that, yeah. All right, so G is shaping the glass there. He's got a nice jug shape. But this has nothing to do with the shape he's going to make. It's going to have a very, very substantial change here very soon. Well, they know he's making a vase. I already told him, and I actually even explained. Does anybody remember what kind of vase he's going to make? Who remembers? You remembered. I saw you remembered. You get a gold star for that. Yeah. We put up the gold stars on his forehead. Pattern. Isn't that amazing? See the purple and the blue and the amber. And then, of course, he used the white glass as a background. So he had transparent colored glass over a white background. So it's like watercolor. You can really see the colors when you put them over the white. And by the way, those colors come from a glass company in Germany called Reichenbach. And they've been making glass colors for over 200 years. 200 years. We've been making glass colors for artists and for industry. So that's where we get our glass colors. We don't actually make our own colors, but the way you get colors in glass is by adding metal oxide, as I said before. So, all kinds of different colors. We get 200 different colors we can choose from. It's quite a palette. All right, so back to the furnace he goes. And the shape's going to change here. He's going to use a tool called marchopes. And they're like those metal jacks that you used before, but they have wooden handles, or wooden blades, rather. So the soft wooden blades slowly burn away and shape it so it doesn't mark up or scratch the glass like the metal jacks would. So it's a nice tool for making contours on a base like that. See the end of the bubble that's orange is what they came out of the furnace. At the end of that orange color is the heat indicator. This is a nice tool that he is using. And it's a very technical tool. Called the newspaper. One news. We just folded that up, soaked it in water, and it's going to shape it. It's close to shaping it with his hands. Yeah. Look at that. See those wood blades? Those are dry, so they burn. And look what's happening. Here comes the magic. This will show you how stretchy the glass is. Fire. That's it, it's magic. No, it really hasn't. Actually, the formula for basic glass has been around for about 4,000 years. Yeah. And people have been working with glass for about 4,500 years, maybe a little longer. Yeah, but glass blowing, what we're doing here, was invented in 50 BC, around about there, by the Phoenicians in Italy, who at that time were part of the Roman Empire. And before that, only the wealthiest people could afford glass. But then when glass blowing came along, you could make a simple bottle in about 2 or 3 minutes. And so it changed the face of civilization. Anybody could afford glass. You had windows, you had vessels that you could store goods in that you could see through instead of clay jars. So it was a big deal back then. It still is today. It's still an incredible thing. Incredible material that is a pillar of our civilization. Going this morning will help you learn a little bit more about that. We really hope to see you there. And you're welcome for the invitation. All right, so G is using the paper, he's shaping it again. Looks like kind of like a barbell right now. He's flattening out the bottom, making the base like they would have at Tiffany Studios 125 years ago. Now he has the base all finished. He's got it flattened out. You can see he's using that wooden board. And look what's happening. Looks like it's catching on fire. Motel. The center is just a little bit. That's called a kick. So it sits on the rim and won't wobble around on the table. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful design. I love that design. Just wait, there's more. All right, so you see Catherine Ayers is over there. She's helping out. And Catherine was America's favorite glass blower last year. 2017, she is America's favorite glass blower this year, 2018. So actually, we get to see two of America's favorite glass blowers. What's that? This has never been here before. This is a whole new thing. We're on a barge, and we weren't here before. We won't be here tomorrow. We're going to be in Waterfront tomorrow. So if you want to see another show, come on up there. Off River. So Catherine has a punky. It's got a little dab of glass on it that you can attach right to the center of the bottom of the base, and they're going to actually transfer it from these flow pipe to Catherine's punky rod so that she can finish off the opening. Hey, wow, wasn't that cool? What do you guys think of that, eh? That's right. So back to the furnace it goes. That was about as cold as that glass will get throughout the whole process. Just about 900, maybe just a little over that. If it gets any colder than that, it'll break. It'll break because the glass will be thermally shocked. Some parts will expand a little bit because they're still hot. Other parts will be contracting because they're thin. And that tension from that movement will cause it to break. That's called thermal shock. Alright, so G is now heating up the top of the base. That's the coldest part of the base because it was attached right to the head of that steel blowpipe. A lot of thick steel there. It's called a heat sink. It pulls all the heat out of the glass. So here he's going to heat it back up to 2,000 degrees. Paperweight. Well, you see how G gathered up the glass in layers and then he blew into it? Let's cut out the blow into it part. Well, did you see how G put the designs on there? That's one way you can design a paperweight. With grit like that, you can also use canes. There's about 1,000 different ways, so it depends on what kind of paperweight. If you showed me a picture of one of them, I could probably explain it. But I can't explain to you every technique. If you like, there's all kinds of different techniques. Sometimes glass makers will do flame working with little rods over a torch, and like Paul Stanker is a good example. If you've ever heard of that artist, he's an amazing paperweight maker. He's probably the world's greatest. Paul Stanker. He's from New Jersey. And he makes some of the most beautiful paperweights. His series is called the Botanical Series. He makes all kinds of beautiful, delicate flowers, and then he encapsulates them in glass. So there's thousands of different techniques. I could go on and on for hours about paperweights. Yeah. Aren't they beautiful? Oh, and I'll tell you one thing. If you want to see some paperweights, where do you think you got to go? Corning Museum of Glass has one of the world's greatest collections of paperweights in the world. In fact, they have the largest paperweight ever made by Josh Simpson. It's called a mega planet, and it looks like a planet with little satellites and everything. It's incredible. So you got to come out there. And the tickets you got to get on the barge, if you look at those, you'll see that there's $5 off to adult admission. So come with your friends, or bring the whole family. Bring the kids, bring the grandkids, bring the grandparents, bring the whole family. The kids are free. Anybody under 17 is free. All right, so what's going on now? Catherine is bringing a little bead of glass that G. Brian is going to wrap around the lip. He's putting a lipstick on this pretty lady. Look at that. Isn't that cool? It's already starting to look like a flower, like a poppy. But wait, there's more. Back to the furnace he goes, and now you see, now that G. Brian has blown the glass out, it's at its thinnest point. he's got to go back to that furnace a lot more often, maybe every 20 or 30 seconds. Whereas when he first gathered the glass, he had a couple minutes to work with it outside of the furnace. But now, the wind is moving around, the glass is cooling very rapidly, because the thinner it is, the more quickly the heat dissipates. If it loses too much heat, what happens? It breaks. That's right. Thank you. Glad somebody remembered. So G is walking a knife's edge of 1,000 degrees as he works. If it gets too hot, what's going to happen? Anybody see that? Yeah? It won't shatter if it gets too hot. It's going to melt into a blob. It'll just crumble back on itself. All right, look at, he's turned it orange. What does that mean? He's got it hot. Yeah, he's got it hot. That's right. And back into, watch what happens. Now that it's soft, he can move that glass, and he's opening that rim. And look at that loving cup. Isn't that beautiful? That would be a cool vase right there. Almost like a large chalice. But wait, there's more. So now G is going to use the force. G is going to use the force, centrifugal force, to spin out the top. Look at that. Just by turning that rapidly, he's able to flare it out into a disc. And now here comes the beautiful Jack in the Pulpit move. Just a couple of moves. He's only got 1 or 2 chances at this. Now, the wind isn't very good for it, you're right. He's got to work really quickly. He's only got a few seconds to do this. And look at how he's exposed the pattern on the inside. Totally different than the outside. Isn't that beautiful? He might even give us a look at it. Oh, he's all right. What are you guys thinking of? Look at that beautiful rod. My goodness. He's Brian. Go! Woo! Right. Am I too loud? All right, he's got to heat it up one more time. And now that he has the piece all finished, there's really nothing more he can do to it. So he's going to break it off of that blowpipe, and then guess what? He's going to put it into an oven. We can't just set it out in the open air to cool down, otherwise it's going to cool too rapidly and unevenly. The thick glass is going to cool slower than the thin glass, and what's going to happen? That's right. So into the oven that goes. Our oven, our annealing oven, that's the thing actually that looks like the refrigerator right behind G. Brian. That's 900 degrees Fahrenheit. Everything we put in there, we'll set at 900 degrees for the rest of the day. At the end of the day, we'll turn the oven down and it'll slowly cool down about 100 degrees an hour until it's room temperature tomorrow morning. A couple drops of water on the puntee connection. It's like a tack weld. It's a temporary connection. A sharp tap to the iron. And there it is, free from the iron. He uses a nat gas torch to fire polish where the honey was attached. It's like the belly button. Hang on a second. And then Catherine's going to carry that into the oven. Hey, let's hear it one more time for the team. G. Brian's up and Catherine Erie.
And I've traveled all over and never felt closer. Life on the water is alive for me. It's for me, for me, for me. That's life on the water for me.